Select Board special meeting. We need a call to order, approval of agenda, FY 2023 budget, public comment adjourned. Can I entertain a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, because Mike is on Zoom, remember, we have to ask everybody. Jamie?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Ronnie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Angie, aye. Thank you. So FY 2023 budget. Where would you like to start, Tim?
Let's start with the road.
Say Joel.
Joel's here.
Joel's here.
Let's get Joe under the calendar here. Gonna beat me up, at least I'll swing a couple punches.
Nice guy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So when you guys have done this in the past, what's the easiest way? Do you go line for line, or do you prefer to like start with compensation and then let it?
Years ago, we used to go line for line, but the
Okay.
last couple of years, I don't know really how they,
We tried.
last year, they didn't do nothing. You guys made it out and we agreed to it.
We went over it.
No, we reduced it actually.
Don't say we didn't do anything. Come on.
I think,
Jeez,
Give me a break.
Mike, we went over it.
that's the way to
Right,
do it.
I think my opinion when we have Joel or whoever's in here, in this case, it's the road fund. Instead of going over this thing line by line, I mean, we've had it for a little while. We should have all read it. Let's
Yes.
let Joel explain his budget
Right.
and where he's level funded or increased or whatever. I think that's, I don't know if he's prepared for that. I'm sure he is. I mean, that's kind of my theory.
Okay, Joel. I agree with you, Mike.
Basically, we kind of level funded things. I went up on the wages now. The wages, we got to explain to you, it looks like we went way up on it. We never really caught up, I guess, on the year we got $1 raise.
Yeah.
We never really caught up with the wage line on that. We were always behind on it. Although with, I think with the overtime and everything, we always came out good on it. Well, this year with Tim, we brought everything right up to snuff on it. So
And that's on this sheet.
I guess you guys have read it. The only thing I'll tell you, the road budget is healthy. We didn't go up, we went up 2%.
And that's just real quick, Joel. There's a surplus of 187,000 from last year that's applied in this.
It's applied to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have, people ask me why we don't, Jamie asked me the other night, spend out some lines, like the guardrails, for instance. We don't always have a need to. When I do, I like to have a little extra money. Guardrails, we put, I think, 5,000 in it. That doesn't pay for many guardrails.
No.
It'd be nice actually to have a fund where you could build it up a couple years and then do a bunch of guardrails. So we end up, when we do, we had some guardrails that cars hit last year there. I think we got insurance money back on that. I'm pretty sure we did. We do get grant money in. A lot of times that goes in just as revenues. I would at some point, we have a little over 70,000 in the building fund. I would at some point like to put up another building with, at least 2 bays, something we could put, a wash shed in it, a tin, metal building type of thing, Hascot type of thing. I actually was gonna get some quotes, but they didn't really have time this year so far to get them, so I was kind of, the one thing I would like to do this coming year is trade the bucket loader in. That's 2,000. It's got about 16,000 hours on it.
Yeah,
And I think we can get a pretty good price for that, as a trade-in. Your loader and your grader, your loader loads and unloads and, the loader goes all the time. Does all the sand twice sometimes. The grader the same way, we got 40 miles of road, but I would like to replace the loader this year. We have a capital sheet. Tim's got it on his computer better. It's kind of a long sheet. It's hard to print out.
capital equipment.
Yeah, the 2016 truck is paid for this year. The only thing we have on there now is 2019. What equipment we're getting this year is just small things. I have the money in the account to pay for them, so that's pretty much,
Did you order the new truck and is that
Yes.
included in there?
yes. Yeah, we'll have money left over.
What about the piece for the grader?
I ordered that too. Yep.
That's all been covered. Okay.
Yeah, there's enough money in the funds. That's the one thing maybe you guys, you don't have the fund sheet in front of you. I like the
No.
simple fund sheets to show.
I have
these
that.
guys.
I can,
Just
The fund balance sheets.
out of curiosity, do you have just a rough estimate of the total, grants that you received this past year? Rough.
Oh,
I was just
I didn't,
curious.
yeah, I know. I didn't really think to, and I should have. I should have.
I think, well, have to think,
You-
I remember sending an email to all you guys and, because I know that you guys all, do grants, and that's something I want to put out there to the public,
Yeah,
You
we do.
received quite a few this year.
Yeah, yeah,
to let them know that you guys are,
yeah,
getting that stuff.
yeah. Yeah, we are proactive. We do have a $200,000 grant for Mount Anthony Road this year. And the fund balance sheet, you'll see we have a lot, in the box culvert fund. It's an 80-20 thing. We'll spend all of the 200,000 plus at least 25,000 of our own, maybe a hair more. I'd like to go after maybe some infrastructure monies for the Main Street Bridge, but I watched the webinar today. They don't really have any answers on how things, or, I'd like to know, and somebody asked the question, no matter where you are in the rankings, we're getting pretty low actually in the rankings on that, I think. But will they still cover it? And, is it still going to be a state grant? You sure?
Okay.
I'm constantly going after grants. We'll have another round in January. I do constantly try to go after what we need. We're kind of lucky, I think, to run the budget rate tight. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it. When these fellas hired me, they said, treat the budget like the Holy Grail, it's your budget. Make sure, you do good by it. And I think we've always done pretty good. Like I said, this is the sixth budget that I've done. And, you know, we really haven't gone up much since I started, so. We went up a little bit to start and we've been pretty much flat.
I'm extremely comfortable with the road budget. I'm extremely comfortable with what's going on. I think since I've been on the board, my opinion is, we're getting a really good service for the town of Pownal. I will tell you that this morning, the town of Pownal roads were way better than anywhere else in this part of the district, okay? State, other towns, whatever. Bennington can't compare to Bennington because they didn't get a lot of snow, but the surrounding towns that I deal with, we were way better this morning, Joel, way better. And I appreciate that. And so do my drivers. But I think my opinion is let our department heads come in with their budgets like this, talk about it. And then my opinion is this budget's pretty tight. We end up with a surplus, I think almost, every year, we have a pretty good surplus here and we're maintaining our equipment. We're purchasing equipment. We're getting better stuff every day for everybody to work with. And I think that's a huge asset for the town of Pownal. Just my opinion.
I agree with your opinion, 100%. I think you guys do an amazing job.
One thing I did put in for,
It's starting to sound like we were with Casey.
want to pat my back?
They do an amazing job.
Stop it. They're supposed to do an amazing job. We got an amazing bunch of people there.
Right?
So for amazing people, you're doing average.
Hey,
According
I appreciate that. Don't forget Bennington takes care of your road, so.
Only up to my driveway.
No, they go all the way
Go all the way down. They go down to the turnaround.
Yeah.
Because we go the other way.
because we go to Skippery.
Skippery, the other side.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Mike as far as that goes, because all our people, our foremans for our areas, obviously are paying attention to cost. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having surpluses.
Well, this year you don't
Or a
know.
bunch of
Everything's up.
A bunch of overages.
Yep.
You know,
Anything you touch, I'm a little nervous on fuel, parts, we're trying to. And one thing you guys have to realize too, we do a lot of our own mechanical work in-house. We don't,
our servicing and stuff.
most everything we do in-house unless it's computer related or, wiring that we can't figure out what. Most all of our work right in-house where a lot of towns send them out. So that's kind of a big savings there. I don't know, any questions for me? One thing I will say, and I'll bring it out, is I did put in for a 5% raise for the guys, which equates to about 99 cents.
Why did you skip yourself and your brother?
I didn't know. Ronnie did that.
Oh. I'm just going by that number right there.
I don't think that's bad, 2% increase, because you have the 5% increase in your pay, and we also have the new
Maybe they
Or was
figured,
that last year?
benefits of the
You want to look under this?
dental and the,
Oh, all
And
right.
this is,
Okay,
Yeah,
that was last
definitely
year.
some added benefits.
there's
Okay.
added benefits, so
Yeah.
I don't think 2% increase is unacceptable at all. I'm very pleased with this.
No, that's what I'm saying. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong.
But if we didn't have the 5% increase and the increased benefits, you probably would have been a decrease.
well, that's just in wages now.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus you guys did what you did.
Right.
We appreciate that. We didn't really ask for it. The only thing I think you should have done was vision, kept up with vision, you know, because they always had vision. Anybody with a CDL, you would think you would do that. But, you know, what happens, I heard Ronnie there saying that was a big raise and stuff, but what happens when you do that with insurances and it starts costing the guys more? They can't afford it out of their paychecks. You know what I mean? They would just as soon have the money than they would extra benefits. Because, you know, I mean.
I know what
you
you're saying.
We talk about it, it just went up, insurance did again, 1st of December, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you get a raise and everyone takes it away.
Well, that happens with everything.
And the other,
Everybody got a raise, and what happened? Inflation killed it off. So let's get real with it all.
Inflation, I think is what, 6%, he said.
You might get 6% on social security if you're lucky.
So you're getting,
And all the other people, what are they gonna get?
you're getting 5% on social security. You're getting a big, we told you, you're getting a big
Raise the shit.
payday.
Yeah,
Raise.
5%. That's a big raise. I'll tell you that right now. That is huge. How
Remember
much are
that.
they gonna take out for Medicare? Give me a break.
Exactly. That's why when we
That's
say
what-
that we
yeah.
want to give our workers more money or more benefits, that's the reason right there.
That's Joel's exact point. That's the exact point you just made.
I know, exactly.
My goodness.
Well,
the-
the trading part of it is it's a tail-chasing exercise.
Right.
Because
Right.
Doing
It
it
is,
Right.
it is.
is an incentive for further increases in costs, which then we have to do it again. And that's, I mean, it really is a no-win.
But it's that way no matter where you go.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not just here, you know, everybody
it's
else
everywhere.
is.
Right.
Well, Tim's got the wage and compensation book from the VLTC, so you can see what the other towns are getting. This, I actually wanted you guys to see this.
Okay.
This is what we have in our fund balance accounts. These stay until you spend it, kind of like a savings account.
Transfer station building,
That's the road fund balance, right?
Transfer station there.
transfer station building fund,
No, that's, you got,
Mike, can you see it?
page of the road. All right.
you want this?
General fund balance sheet, do you have one?
No, that's.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Road fund, what you want. Yeah, there you are.
Yep.
That's what we have, just so you guys all know.
That was an insurance thing. I remember that.
So you take, when I do these, we put so much money in the lines,
Right.
but I also always figure what we have in the fund balance. So, you know, that changes because we either take more out or some years if it's cheaper, we put back in. You know, a budget's kind of an estimate. It's a pot shot anyhow. It's,
Right.
Right.
you know what I
The
mean?
budget, it's an estimate.
Yeah,
We can't control, gas prices or anything else like that.
no. Gravel crushing fund, I'd like to do 5,000 yards of gravel and 1,000 yards of stone. This year. See, the box culvert fund, we have 134, and if I get a $200,000 grant, we will probably only use 25, between 25 and 50 out of that maybe.
Do you only need 6,000?
What's
I
that?
thought generally you usually do a total of 10
And what?
for gravel and sand, gravel, stone and sand.
So we do about 30,000.
Altogether.
Oh, you mean on the materials?
When you're crushing.
No,
I thought,
about
was
5,000.
it 5? Okay.
Yeah, we did 6 this year, but we didn't do any stone.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions for Joel?
I know.
Mike?
No, I'm good. I'm very comfortable with the road budget.
All right, sounds good.
Once I'm in the right pew. This church.
Do you have anything else to add, Joel?
No.
While you're here, though, I think we should open comment. I'll open public comment. So if anybody has any questions that you can answer better than probably I or anybody else here, maybe.
Raising their hand.
If you're out there and you'd like to ask a question on the road budget, please raise your hand and remember to state your full name. Megan, is there anybody out there?
There's no one out there.
All right, thank you.
I think we just need a motion to.
Yep.
approve the road budget,
We need a
right?
motion to approve the budget.
I'll make the
I'm gonna
motion.
approve the road budget for fiscal year 22-23.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, Jamie,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Ronnie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Angie. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks a lot.
For the other night too.
Yes, thank you for going, I just heard about it. Thank you for going above and beyond. And I don't want to hear about it, but thank you
No, I know.
very much. When I heard about it, I was very upset.
No. No kidding. Yeah, cheers. That's general.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your night.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
guys. Thanks for the pat on the back, Ronnie. I really appreciate it.
Hey, always there to give you a pat on the back. That's what you want. If that makes you happy, I'm happy to do it.
Tim, I'll come in.
That's the kind of guy I am.
I won't be here and I don't think Ellen will be either. So there may not be
We
anyone
can
here.
get him Monday.
Okay.
Not a big deal.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Keep warm.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, moving on.
Great. General. I think before we start going line for line, the best thing to do is to go through the compensation so that we're in line with what you all want to do for next year for each of those. The way this, and I can update it as we speak, so we'll understand the ramifications in the general budget. If on this spreadsheet, the numbers that are in red have been changed, otherwise it's just a 3% increase, which is what you've done in the past. If that's not what you want to do, we just have to
okay.
change that. The first one is Rebecca. So what, this is based on 20 hours a week
Yeah.
and raised to 24. What last year? That number felt like it just needed to be looked at only because comparing to what Megan makes and stuff like that, it was a little off.
She was full-time and now she's doing something totally different than what she was.
Correct.
I mean, she's still the board liaison, but she's doing more legal
Right.
Right.
than everyday stuff that Megan's taking care of now.
Right.
Do we,
So last year for Rebecca, we spent about 29.8. And you can see that on the form going down. And then that budget is a proposal of 24.9. So it's actually a decrease of 22%.
Okay.
assuming that she wouldn't work as many hours.
Correct.
Right.
And she does come in, it's right around 20 every week, if not a little less.
Okay.
And we spoke and she doesn't think it will be more than that.
We don't have a
I think those-
fiasco.
Yeah.
And, I just want to make, she would be happy with that, right?
Yes.
That's, because I honestly think that given the level of performance that we get and the skill level, we've been getting a hell of a bargain and we need to start paying for it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm in agreement with that.
Okay. Then, let's see. When we get to the transfer station, Tom gave himself 3% and then asked Ron to go to $15 an hour.
What's minimum wage now?
I think it's,
I think it's,
11.75.
I thought it went up.
I know it's proposed to go up. I don't know if they actually have adopted it,
I could look really
so,
fast.
but,
But 15 is definitely over minimum, correct?
well, that's what I was gonna hope that it was.
It's definitely over.
12.50.
Definitely over, right, Mike? Okay,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
double checking.
12.55, all right,
12.55 per hour starts in January.
okay.
Okay,
Who was it?
but I'm fine with 15,
Who's at 1450? Is that right?
right?
That's what- Or 94.
Yep, he was at 14.50.
Straight
And
line,
we're
straight line across.
up him to 15.
Yep. Let's see then.
Okay, yep.
So the next one is zoning administrator. So what we've proposed doing is making that a straight across the board stipend, which raises it currently from 300 to 400. And then there's no more of the verification fees and anything like that. It makes it a lot easier budgeting wise
Just doing a stipend, then a week, or then a timely,
than having to figure out how many compliance and non-compliance is 5 for that. And it comes out right about the same. A little higher. That's-
I have no problem with that.
And you'll see when we get to the budgeting thing, it makes things so much easier because then we aren't budgeting the revenue that we're guessing and the
Right.
expense that.
You'll know exactly
Yeah.
what you're spending. And these sheets are amazing compared to what we used to have. They are so easy to read. It's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Is this
this
from you or is this from Nemrick or is it a combination of both? Oh, Tim,
information
That's
comes
in
from
Excel.
memory, but yeah,
this is so nice. Thank you.
you're welcome. And the good thing is the wages calculate everything and then just updates the budget. So you don't even have to worry about.
Putting numbers in, right? It does it for you.
that's the sweet thing about Excel, you can transfer it.
Yeah. All right. So then the next is Leonard.
Leonard needs a raise.
Yes.
He
did.
really does.
Then I put the $15 in. He did not advocate that much for himself. And he deserves that.
And with all the new things coming, I don't know if we need to, how do we usually budget a maximum for these positions or we just budget an hourly rate? That's what I couldn't remember.
So the way, let me see, let me think.
Because
For Leonard, so the thing is, he's actually putting time in.
Yes,
Where
no, I
before that,
understand
when you
that.
go back in the history, there wasn't a lot done.
Puts way more than 10 hours a week in.
oh,
Right.
definitely.
So
definitely.
10 hours a week is currently sort of what it was budgeted for. If you want to allot for more than that,
Okay. Well,
we can change that. That can be upped and that will.
I mean, there may
affect
be some
everything.
weeks where he doesn't, so
But
that's,
that's the average out.
yeah, that's what I'm wanting to ask everybody, because he seems to be getting quite a few calls. So I don't know, without talking to him, since he's taken over, what's his average week been, I guess?
It's in that range.
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean, that's where I'm going as far as,
yeah.
So Tim, do you feel comfortable with 10 hours?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, I mean,
And he put in for, let me see here, for himself.
it's just, he's been handling things very professional, and I've got a lot of good feedback,
Yes, everybody is. I'm very pleased with him. I haven't heard one negative
and,
comment at all.
Lots of positive comments.
I
Lots
mean-
of positive.
So he's put in 6,000 for himself. The
Okay.
15 gives us 7,800.
okay,
Okay,
no, okay,
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
yep.
All right. All right, that brings us down to nothing else changed. Julie's amount includes her, what you guys agreed to when she went salary of the 2% increase.
Yep.
The select board, that's you guys, stays the same.
Yeah,
All right, so this is the listers. Adam,
Rodney
or
loses
David,
5%.
Wendy, and Jody. So they did not advocate anything for themselves. I spoke to Julie or Jody today. She is gonna propose to put back on the ballot the article to make the listers go away.
Oh,
So I wasn't sure how to handle that
well,
until we discuss it.
Well, I think, my opinion is that we budget for it anyway,
yes,
because, you have to budget for the contingency.
Right. So what ends up coming out with this is, the hours per week is 15. I think it's currently at 11. I
Yeah.
can tell you Jody works a lot more than 15 hours a week.
Right.
It's usually in the 20s.
right. I talked to her about that before.
Yes, it's high, even the high 20s.
But it's not 15 in the high 20s, is it? Or is it?
So Dave doesn't put in hours. Wendy's usually around 10-ish.
Yeah. I mean, they wash out, but
And then Jody is the excess.
actually Dave and Wendy were trying to propone it instead of having everybody the same rate. They wanted
Yep.
David-
And so the
Wendy
reason there's a
wanted
difference
Jody to
there.
have a higher rate because she did so much more, is what they were
Yeah.
trying to get us to do.
And a while back, I had reached back, I think I had sent that around to you, how there are some towns that give the chair of the listers board a different rate than the others, which is what I kind of followed here.
Yep.
I took a stab at the dark with the 18 and the 20 with the thought, if that ballot article is placed on the ballot and it passes, that would be, it'd be an assessor plus a clerk.
Right.
And that brings the total of those 3 years around, I think it's 40,000, which is about a $18 to $20 an hour person.
Right.
So it kind of felt balanced, whichever way it ended up going.
So if we lost the listers and we had to hire a person, an assessor for that position, then we still had the
One
funds.
person for 18 to 20. And Jody had increased the NEMRIC portion by 2,000 with that sort of in mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now, if the ballot article were to pass, that's not something we can even, well, I'm not sure if we can negotiate it or not, but we would use NEMRIC and it would be whatever they charge, right?
That's how I understand it, yes. So, on the current listers budget, we have a line for NEMRIC, which for this budget is 20,000.
right.
And then we have the salary for the listers, which this year is 33, and after this would be around 43 or 40, I think, 40.
And so it would be these salaries that would then be diverted from a
Right.
budget standpoint.
In an $18 to $20 range for whoever that person is.
Yep.
And what I asked Jody to do is to send me an email requesting that of you. And I spoke to Wendy and I spoke to Jody and I said, if that's what they want, they also need to sell it
Right.
so that
Right.
we all understand why and what it means for the town and that those who are going to vote don't think they're putting people out of a job, that there's a reason why.
Hopefully people come to the town meeting, we can take and voice their concerns and all that then.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
yep.
So that takes us over to the general.
So before we move, okay, the difference is right here.
Yeah.
2021 and annualized and 2022 annualized.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And then you can see the difference.
Yes.
I got corrected on that. With
And
Joel.
the only thing to be aware of, Bob, is that's the total payroll.
Yeah.
It's not just those applying to the general.
Oh, in other words, it includes road fund.
Yes,
Lose the road and the.
everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't received numbers from Darcy, so I just put in the obligatory 3% there.
Okay.
But that doesn't even pertain to us right now for that.
Right.
Okay,
But that total does include them.
We've got something there to work with.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so that brings us now to the
If we
general.
that went to a vote, that would be to have a actual not a lister, a assessor, what do you call them?
Assessor, yep, it'd be the same
Hire
article.
an assessor for the same money as we're paying the three.
No, so the way I understand it, it works is that there's the assessor and then there's a clerk who handles a lot of the admin in the town. So it's essentially a two-position role. You subcontract out for the assessor, in our case for Nemrick.
Yep.
And then you have someone who's doing,
Remember,
office.
is the only place you can get an assessor?
no, you could do it another
Right,
way.
Not. Can't even talk to them people.
Right. We use them now,
To
so
say it,
the,
but that's the way it is.
yeah, you don't have to go that route.
No, I'm just curious. I'm
Yep.
just asking a question, that's all.
Yep. That's sort of how it was set up last year, should that ballot article have passed. So,
Because we've got in the, what do we got in the budget for the listers?
so if you go, so if you scroll down or find their section on the page here,
Yeah,
About 45. So in the budget, it's approximately 45. I mean.
Yeah, 45,000.
yep.
Yeah,
That's some money. It depends on how often the assessor has to do anything.
Right, that's the other side of it. I was
Right.
thinking that too. These are all 15
I mean-
hours a week apiece for three
Three.
current listers.
Right.
If we were to go to an assessor.
The
I
only
think
thing
it
I'm
would be-
saying is we need three by according to
Statute.
We're supposed to have three. That's all I'm saying. What I'm just saying is, which I got no complaints with the lister business, but I was just wondering how that worked out. And if these people are happy, why shouldn't I be happy? I should be happy. So it don't matter to me.
But your point was that if the ballot article passes and we end up going to an assessor and we're hiring them either from Nemrick or wherever, it's going to be a two-person, one at a lower rate because that'll be the clerk, and then you'll
One is
have
just
one
a
at the
clerk.
assessor. But
Right.
you'll also have a difference in the hours. I'm not sure if that assessor would be full-time for the
I was
town.
gonna say, I'm thinking
or would be
part-time
a
position.
30-hour position and then a.
I assumed full-time.
Okay,
I mean, I know if we think,
These are.
my
45
understanding
hours
is it's the higher level functioning that the assessor's gonna do. So a lot of the same
Okay.
stuff they do now, they'll still continue to do, except it's on one person now.
okay.
Okay.
But I have not done a lot of research because I literally just had that conversation today.
Yeah, so it's a brand new on a table type.
Yeah.
I think we can safely say that should it pass and should we move to a different model, it's going to be close to a wash. We can't really tell if it's going to be a little bit more or a little bit less, but
Right.
it's going to be close to a wash.
Yes. And that's how this is set up. Assuming we use Nemrick because we have a better cost structure. 20,000, if you hire an assessor, 20,000 is very low.
Well, the other thing with NEMRIC is that's what the state is using. And therefore, just like Beamers and all
That's what
that.
we currently
That's what,
use.
right, and that's the system.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta remember, we're kind of tied to some of that because of the state. So,
Yes.
And I'm thinking that, our experience with Nemrick will probably be improving. I'm assuming just because we're doing more business with them. We bought some
Yeah.
modules, we've used their consulting services and whatnot.
and once you learn the modules, unless there's a software issue, you shouldn't have an issue.
And I think that worked out.
It's everybody. Yeah,
it seems to be doing really well.
I mean,
Are you happy with it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's old.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's
but the
very
state,
hard to use sometimes, but
Oh, okay.
it's what we have. So,
it slows down sometimes. I know it works.
yeah, it's
Okay.
another conversation.
All right.
It's a pain in the ass.
Not to push you along, but we only have like 20 minutes.
Yep. All right, so if we go up to the top, start from the top, come down. So the ballot articles, I have all of them in. My plan for this is to have a special meeting where we'll go over ballot articles and all that. But just so you're aware, I've reached out to everyone. I've got everyone's back. There's two that are going to petition to increase. Oak Hill and the baseball, Pownal baseball. So this number represents that increase, should it get to that point. The sewer bonds staying the same, local agreement is pretty much the same. All of the revenue pieces are pretty the same. There's not a lot of difference. And Ellen and I sat down and reviewed this together. So it seems pretty flushed out, the revenue side of things. If you have a quick look at that, and then we can jump right into the expense side of things. The transfer station stayed pretty much the same with Tom from the revenue perspective. One thing I do want to mention when we get there is the kennel that
Yep.
Leonard has asked for. What we need to determine, I guess, is if we're going to get a budget for it, figure out what the project is and put it on as its own ballot article or put it in the budget. And if we do that, we just want to remember that we can pull money from, just like Joel does, from the capital fund
Right.
to offset some of it.
Oh.
So it's not, and that's what that red line is there, just in case.
I personally think that should be included in the budget because that's just like Joel needing a grader.
Yes.
It's a tool that
Yep.
the animal control officer needs
Yes.
to do his job.
Yes. So if that's not in here, if that's the way we want to proceed,
mean-
that is not in here. So we just have to figure out the total. I've asked Leonard to really pull it together with
Yeah.
what he needs exactly and price it out. But it also includes, we need to figure out the location and
Right.
get all of those things tied up. So we actually have a firm project to
Yeah.
focus on.
No, I was talking to him a little bit about that the other night too. And that's what he said. He was gonna
Yep.
start checking out locations.
Yep. And it seems what we did really fast, it's around the 50,000 mark for a kennel with
Gotta put
air
power,
and heat
water.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So we're going in the dog business. That's what you say. Just curious, Bennington don't have one. Why should we?
I don't know.
What if we got 50,000 to throw away? Well, let's throw it away.
Then we have to keep paying to board these dogs.
That's what?
We have to keep paying to board these
I
dogs.
know what you have to do. And I know it's only a few days. And I know that things should be a little stricter on our dog people.
Well, it is at $400 for 10 days, right? So that's for one animal.
Yep.
To keep it where? Where you putting it in a Holiday Inn?
Well, that's what they're charging at with the shelter.
The second chance.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that
You
will
only
take
gotta-
it.
But you only gotta have them there for 5 days.
Well, 10 days,
5 days if they're abandoned and 10 days if they bite somebody
right?
or something.
They've been in
That's to
a
see if they're
rabbit.
yeah, if they're rabid.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta have a better policy on dogs. First of all, a lot of them ain't even registered. What do you do with them? Can we charge the owner?
I know he's working on that too.
Yeah.
We should.
Oh,
Megan's
that's-
been
that's
bringing
a
together ordinances.
Definite conversation we need to have.
Well,
I'm
that's
not-
what we need rather than talking about 50,000. Let's
Well,
talk about doing away with some of these animals.
That's not right now, though. We were trying to do the budget because we only got,
I know it's not right now.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to move it along because we only got
Say
15.
anything, I'll just keep quiet.
No, Ronnie, that's not what I mean.
And it's not in here yet.
It's just not here yet.
it's just,
And I'm just looking at it cost.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I agree.
That's a lot of money for dog kennel. Or, taking care of dogs, as far as I'm concerned. But that's just me.
Okay.
Well, I agree. I mean, things are going up and we need to keep our focus on the taxpayer.
no, I understand that. That's a one-time fee.
Which is where the
For
capital
infrastructure.
fund can come into play.
Right.
Like if it's 50 grand and we want to contribute 30,000 from it, then it brings it way down, so it's all a matter of, there's options is what I'm saying. When we
Right.
get there, we move that forward, there are options to keep it
It's just something
contained.
more we gotta look at.
Yeah. All right, so then we move on to expenses and we're at the selectmen. It's the same for you all. One thing with this that we started to do is to consolidate a lot of things like postage.
Yep.
Figure out one line and you'll see, I'll show you as we move on. There's one line now that shows postage so that everyone who needs stamps can just go there and we know what we're spending in a year. Because it was feeling, no one could really say, and in order us to figure out what we're spending, we had to do all these different accounts and pull these, it was a little crazy. So we did that for postage and then the only time we didn't do that for postage was for elections. We kept that one separate because it's for a purpose.
Right.
It's very, and we may get reimbursed on those, so we kept it separate. All right, so for your expense, we left that at 5. This I added and just wanted to get your opinion. When I spoke to Rebecca on this, there doesn't ever seem to be a set spot to grab money when we go out for grants and we have to match.
Yep.
And next year, there's the municipal planning grant, which I think has about 1,600 that may happen this year, actually, I guess, that we have to match. That will be our responsibility. And then any other of the grants that are kind of being looked at as far as, we don't know yet. I don't think that one there's a match in, but any of the others anyways. And there's a lot of people are doing a lot of homework looking at grants.
Right.
There's no line item to have that money. So I don't know what you all have done in the past here. So that's something that can easily be removed if you don't think it's necessary. I wanted to throw it in as a discussion topic so that we aren't caught unaware should we want to have and again, it's a guess because I don't even know what the grant is or the amount or the match.
Right, we don't ever know.
I'm not sure that I want it in there, but I need to think about this. The thing is, it's an incentive to increase our costs and to increase the scope of everything that the town of Pownal does, right? Every time we get a grant and we have a major project,
Yeah.
we get a huge payment, and we have usually a 10% matching, but it's some kind of matching fund that we have to come up with.
Right.
But then whatever that project was, all ongoing expenses then fall to the town.
Right.
And this is how we grow year over year. And then we have a long-term liability that they all add up. Grants are much better to go after when they offset things that we're already doing rather than there being new projects. And so by not having that budget line item, maybe is less of an incentive to go after grants that would expand the scope of what we're doing, and more of an incentive to go after grants that would be an offset to things that we're already spending.
To assess stuff, yeah.
And that's kind of where my head's going, but I think I need to flush it out a little bit more in my head as well.
That's a valid point.
And in those cases, where would you anticipate the match coming from? Where has it come from in the past when we've needed it? If there's a another option, that's fine. I don't know what's been done in
Since
the
I've been on
past.
the board, we've had to take and do the match up.
The match, I mean, if they're projects that we're already spending,
Right.
then we've already spent the match, right?
That's a
Like,
line
for
item.
example, when we were going after grants for, I guess we had some COVID, we had some discussions on it. I don't think we actually got them. But we had discussions on, this is what we're spending. We've already budgeted for it, but we may be able to offset it by hitting these grants. So
Right.
any matching funds on those grants.
Come out of
we've
that
already
line.
spent because it's already been budgeted, and it actually becomes a cost savings for the town, not an expansion of scope.
Okay.
And that's kind of, that's where I was going with it.
Yeah.
So in those instances, the matching funds come from our budget that were already in there. It's already money that we're spending.
Okay. So did that same apply for didn't we get a municipal planning grant for the bylaws a couple years ago? Is that
We
the same?
did, and I would think that the municipal planning grant, I mean,
I don't think we had to pay towards that though.
I think we did have a matching. I think it was a 10% matching,
Okay.
and it was something on the order of 1,600 or something like that. I think that's right, but I don't remember exactly. But I thought that was something we did every time we go into anytime we touch the town plan, and there's money that we have to pay for a consultant and,
Right.
and then you put out the RFP for the consultant. But that's a recurring expense, so that ought to be in here somewhere.
That might be under planning, that particular thing.
Right, so that would come, but at the municipal planning grant, the offset or the matching funds would come from the budget for planning, right?
Right,
So,
I think that's really good too.
and that's the only one I could think of that has the matching funds.
Okay, well, I'm fine taking it out. I just wanted to bring it up because I know a lot of big grants have been spoken of. Okay,
But we have talked about a lot of matching. I like the, oh, yeah.
What?
I'm glad that we're thinking about it though, because almost every grant we talk about, whether we get it or not, there is a matching fund, there is a match to it.
Fee, yes.
And that's why I'm a little bit on the fence, because in order to get that
wait
money,
a
you
minute,
have
this
to
is
have the.
Rebecca. Maybe she wants to. Missed it.
We got like 7 minutes, sorry.
Okay. All right, so then a lot of these will go fast. So I took out the newsletter. Oh, it's Rebecca again. So here we go. Hello? Oh, one sec. Okay,
Okay, this is Rebecca Dragon. I'm sorry, I was watching, but I thought I could offer some clarity on what you were talking about, grants and matching funds and municipal planning grants. Municipal planning grants are available every single year to all municipalities. There is no requirement when you go into like writing your bylaws or your town plan, there is no requirement to hire a consultant. So I don't think that's something that's generally been budgeted for. And planning grants have this huge wide scope of possible projects that you can do with them. The other thing about matching grants, and this is a wall that I've hit quite a bit when researching grants and trying to apply for them, is that when you don't have some matching funds set aside for grants of any amount, you're disqualified from quite a few grants. So the other thing that I heard you guys talking about was that sometimes like already approved projects, for instance, why it's been so difficult to find any kind of grant funding for the town hall project, it's because it's already an approved project that passed the voters and has a budget. And so there's a lot of, it's just difficult when you're working with grants. That's just information I wanted to pass on to you guys, if you have any questions for me.
No, thank you, Rebecca. That clarified it.
Thank you. I'll see you guys later.
All right, bye-bye.
okay, so I took it out for now. We can,
Discuss it more.
yeah. All right, so that brings us down to board liaison wages, which those are coming straight from the compensation. So we've already,
Discuss it.
yeah.
Discuss it, yep.
On the wages too, the one thing you'll notice is instead of breaking this all out between overtime, expense, holiday pay, sick pay, vacation, it's in one line item now because it all comes from the same bucket. Unless you're able to get overtime, then there will be a separate number here.
Okay.
Right. Administrative assistant, so for the general, that's coming again, and then the overtime, that's a guess of 2,500 just in case it's necessary. And then the expense is 500. There's nothing for the administrator, jumps down to the executive assistant. I kept my expense pretty even from what it was. The treasurer, again, that's 3% from the previous year. Here's a spot where you'll see the treasurer's postage is 0, but there's this number on the right. That's just so that it totals at the bottom and gives us that one thing. So. Town clerk. And a lot of the increases you're seeing are because of the changes that were done this year that weren't necessarily budgeted for last year. So like Julie's now salaried.
Right.
So you're gonna see a jump there
Yeah.
that, okay. BCA, pretty much stayed the same. She raised it because she thinks, she's gonna need to have a few more BCA meetings, and if they ask for salary or pay, she needs to have it covered. Election expenses, she thinks she can save on the wages. Because the November one will be paid for by the state, I believe, so it's just our March one that she has. And then there's a primary, I think she has covered. So the auditors, we'll start with the easy thing here first. So where you see accounting expenses and CPA audit fund, what's been done in the past is it's been one number that's been budgeted. And then from my understanding, what's left at the end of the year gets pushed to the fund. I've started to break that up so we have a clear idea of what accounting costs us for a year versus what we want to put in the fund. So the accounting expenses, which is primarily our audit, runs around 15,000. I put a $10,000 in for the CPA audit fund because with all of this ARPA money that we're receiving and all the grants that we may get, we have a very good chance of having to have a single audit.
Yep.
Because we're gonna pass the threshold of 750,000 expended in 1 year. And the audit fund right now is at 9,000. And so that's to cover that single audit, which I've reached out to the Pownal to ask, and I haven't got a response back of what that amount of money may be. But it must be equal to at least a yearly audit. That's my hunch.
Okay.
That's why it's like that. So the other part with the auditors is, and I don't know how to handle this, is so we are technically supposed to have them because that ballot article passed, right? So if anyone runs for an auditor, we don't have anything in here now for their salary.
Yeah, so we do have to budget for it because, because they're authorized positions.
True.
Right. So that's another ballot article. Right. So I wasn't sure how to handle that because I wasn't sure, one, what they were paid in the past and how that.
Yeah, we'll have to look and see what it was before. It was a stipend, if I remember right, wasn't it?
I think that's correct.
Stipend.
Or,
Well, they got paid hourly, but there was a max, I thought. That's right.
yeah, that's what I think it was. I think it was hourly with max, but we'll have to look it up.
Okay. So
Was
I
that
can
one
do
of them
some
little
homework,
books they'll
additional
tell
homework
us?
on that and then.
One of the old books.
Okay, the town report, I raised the postage by a snippet just because the price of stamps went up.
Yep.
And then I raised the actual printing by $500 as well. Now, this is 23. I would like to have put on the ballot articles when we get there to take away the town report. So we just have to send a postcard and then have the town report on the website. So we don't have to do all this printing and mailing. But that has to be voted on. So that may be a line we don't need if we get there. But we have to cover for it just in case.
Okay. And you
Yeah,
send
I
them a
think-
card, and if they wanted it, they'd come and request it, correct?
It just tells them that it's available online. And yes, if they really want one in physical, they can come and pick one up.
Okay, yeah, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I think our auditor was $14 an hour. I just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
But we had a cap on it, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
I thought it was hourly rate with a cap.
Yeah.
So we would budget 15 or 16 an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a year and a half ago or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we need to know what the cap was too.
Yeah, I don't remember what the cap was, Bob. I honestly don't remember.
I have an old budget at home. I'm sure I can look it up, but I don't have
And
it.
I can
Oh,
use,
yeah, well, there should be old budgets there.
yeah, I
The
can
old
look it up.
books. It used to be right there. I don't know if that's one right there or not. Oh,
Okay,
I can add that. All right, that brings us to the listers. They pretty much stayed the same except for the 2,000 for the Emmerich piece. And they added 2,000 for their supplies. They could budget for that map case they've been asking for.
I thought we received a grant for that, no? For hanging maps?
Yeah. No, we haven't received a grant. Then I'm
I
a,
thought we did. Maybe there was talk of it.
all right, zoning administrator, very straightforward. It's just the 4,800 now and the 500 for training. All those other things become not applicable. DRB and both DRB and planning stayed the same. And so there's the for the planning, the expense and training line is 3,000. If that's in the past, if you think they may have used that for like a match type of thing. Okay. All right, building and grounds. So the capital fund, I increased that to 5,000 in case we chose to use something for either the kennel or for the new town hall. If we wanted to use anything in that regard. That's a discussion we'll have to have about the new town hall. And then the municipal office fund, I added 50,000. So now what you have to remember is this is for fiscal year 23. So this is after next July. So this is when we've probably just gotten in there. There may be things left to do or not done, whether it's paving the lower parking lot, other things we may need.
if we need to set up the office.
Right, it could be this. No one really came, when I had asked everyone to think of that and to propose what they thought they would need. No one really, other than the listers with their map, no one else really threw anything in. Ellen put in her for a desk that I guess she's been wanting for a while, but that's in her budget.
That old metal.
It's a,
It's a relic.
And I don't know, we're at 7:04. I don't know what you want to do about the budget meeting. Continue it.
sorry.
Yeah, we'll do a continuous.
Yeah, we'll do a continuous.
Okay,
Okay,
Make a,
so office buildings and grounds. Okay,
so make a motion to continue another special meeting, adjourn on the budget.
You gonna set a date?
is everyone available? Does Tuesday work for people?
Yeah. Next Tuesday,
Yeah,
That works for me.
good for you.
All right, I guess.
Tuesday,
Next Tuesday does not work for me.
okay.
But what about
But that,
Thursday?
you know, Thursday's fine. Tuesday's out. That's just Tuesday's out for me.
Thursday work for you?
Sure.
Thursday?
I'm good Thursday.
Thursday, what,
Next Thursday would be the 16th.
Yeah.
what time?
6?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jamie,
Aye.
Mike,
Bye.
Ronnie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Angie, I.